Welcome to another episode of Eye Level Podcast. Today, again in English, because we connect from Croatia to the United States. And my guest today is Andro Fistonic. Andro did the Master of Science of Sports Management in Cologne, finished it there, and went from there for a short period to Poland and is now Assistant Academy Director at Hajduk Split, one of the biggest clubs in Croatia. Welcome, Andro. I'm really happy to have you here. We got to know us in your time in Germany. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Busy days in Croatia after Corona. You don't know nothing what's gonna happen next week, but we're trying to improvise with the plans and actually a very fun, very exhausting time, but very fun time to work.
What is the fun? Like, what is the fun part of it?
The fun part of it is that you are kind of sure that something is gonna happen that you don't expect. And now if you put that as a fun, in a meaning that you are learning, it's fun. But you can put it in if you are negative, you can put it in a way of, oh, it might be a mistake. And then it might actually be bad. But yeah, I have this idea of mindset that whatever comes and it's new, it, it gets me to the point of feeling to have fun. And I think throughout my life, I was always putting things like that. Yeah.
So would you say
Yeah,
curiosity drives you?
yeah, absolutely. I think I have some mental disorder that if I know what's gonna happen for next week, months, or a year, then I'm trying to get away from this lifestyle.
So,
Sometimes you need that, but I have still problem with living like that.
so Andro, you served in different roles in your life, but who are you as a person?
Who am I as a person? What to say? I think I'm just Andro Fistonic, a kid who didn't want to stick with just the ordinary life. I always believe there is something more, and I think I'm living my dream. I don't work in this, for example, in football now. I'm living a life that I always wanted, and I'm getting paid for it. So it's amazing. So who I am? I'm just a ordinary kid who wants to have no ordinary life. Let's put it like that.
What is an ordinary life for you?
Ordinary is something that is a standard. That if you take Croatia has 4 million people, let's say 2 million males. So there is some kind of social structures, yeah, how the life should be for a male in Croatia. And let's say we have a percentage of some kind of life. You living by 20, then you study until 25, you find first job, buy first car, marry, have 2 kids, and it goes like that, renting apartments. But for me this was not enough. Always, not necessarily in a matter of money or something, it's just a matter of curiosity. Yeah. So just as I said, ordinary kid who wanted to have no ordinary life.
Where do you come from?
So I come here from this area where I live now, from Croatia, Split. So South Croatia. I lived in Split my 7 years. Then I moved to a little bit more south, 1 hour more, in Makarska, little town, 15,000 people. Raised there, structured myself as a human being until 18, and then after that I moved to the world. Yeah.
You already said there's a lot of structure, and maybe there are like expectations for a young male in Croatia. How was your childhood in this structure?
Yeah, there is a lot of social structures that people and your parents sometimes expect you to follow. I was lucky that I had a mom. My parents are divorced, so I had a mom who never pushed me to do something as other people do. there was few things, but then after I reached 16, she was letting me even more free, so I was structuring myself. So when we talk about Croatia, you know, it's usual you play football, and that's a good thing, obviously, for our job. Usual for every male is to try to play football. If you're not good in football, then you go into the different things. Yeah. So that's one of the things. What else? Now it's very important that you study English, that you go to the college. Not necessarily that you go what you love to study, but it's important that you study college, which is, I believe, it's not good. Yeah, you first need to know what you want, and then you go to study that and try to be better in that. So again, that's a positive thing, that the structure is you should study, but we still didn't at that time when I was growing up, we didn't figure it out that people should be ready for something when they go into it, even if it's positive as a college. So that was some of the things. We are very religious. We are Catholic orientated country. So I was raised in this kind of environment. I got many good things from that. I got some things that I later on I was questioning and I changed in my beliefs. But that's also something that structured me in a way. I would say, you know, do to others what you want that they do to you, you know. And if you take the best parts of those words that you get in the church and you live truly by them, it's a good thing. So yeah, there is many these little social structures, but I would say it's very similar to the Western Europe, very similar.
So you finished school. What did you do after that?
You mean high school or college?
Yeah, when you finished your school in Croatia.
Okay. So when I was 18 when I finished here high school, and then I went I got a college stipend scholarship to play football and study in USA. For me, this was again one of these mental disorders that I told you. I really wanted something new. I wanted to go somewhere where I had no clue. So I went to my first state was Iowa, and I'm telling you, I had no clue where is that. If you told me, I was thinking I'm going to America, and like America is, you know, it can be beach in California or it can be snow in Colorado. But for me, that was completely unknown. So I just went. I had one friend who kind of was already there. So I was like, okay, let's go. I want to experience something new. So I went for college. Then I stayed there 1 year. I moved to Illinois. Again, I wanted something new. And then after Illinois, I took a break for about a few months. And then I wasn't happy there. It didn't kind of fit my character. And then I still wanted to go to USA, but I wanted to go to some either bigger city or somewhere close to the sea. So then I moved to Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area in California, and I really found myself there. I was there for 3 years, playing college football, soccer, and coaching, experiencing a life, and it was amazing. I think I was from 20 to 23 years old there, and it was beautiful.
So there was this first big experience. You went from you were in Croatia raised up, and you opened your mindset to a complete new world. And you already said you found yourself.
Yeah.
What is this finding yourself? What does it mean to you? What really happened in America in this time?
Yeah, that was, you know, it was, when I look at it from now, it was amazing 5 years, yeah. But in that run of 5 years, when I'm thinking, there was more moments when I was breaking apart than where I was, how to say, enjoying it all the time. But I think that time from 18 to 23, where I was like questioning everything, I was starting to learn how to make money, how to pay my bills, how to buy a first car, you know, stuff like that. It was at that time, it was very hard experience. There was some moments where I was one click away on the internet to buy a ticket and move back to Croatia. But it was like 50-50, I stayed. Then 50-50, I stayed. 50-50, I stayed. And at that moment, I was feeling like, what I'm doing. Like, why I'm not going back home. I have a good life, friends, whatever, a family. But when I think it now back, that was the best decisions that I stayed. And those decisions changed me because I questioned everything. Out of those questioning, I filtered the things that in those my first 18 years of living were not right. And I changed them, but I kept the ones that I was believing they were right. So then I would say that those 5 years in USA were kind of like a restart, but not restart with starting from zero. It was restart from being 18 and knowing what happened first 18 years, but I changed myself to be, I think, even a better person, mindset of not, how to say, I started to know what I want actually in the life. And I think that was the most important.
Can you give an example? You already said that some beliefs changed, some you stayed with. Can you give an example? What kind of belief, for example, you brought over from Croatia and you changed in America?
Yeah. Let's say things like I was always a stubborn, yeah? I would not listen to people. I would have my opinion and I will defend it, and which is fine, but I would not let other people try to even reflect to me, yeah? So that was one thing for sure I learned, because I realized I was in Croatia, I was building my kind of family, friends, so you don't change them. Either you get in the fight, they're still with you. But here you were just one of the many, not too many real good friends. So like in order to get the new real friends, you should be, how to say, you should respect others. You should listen to others. You should have some relationship, yeah, normal ones. So, and the USA is very like I would say very fast life is there. People, like, if they don't feel good with you, they won't meet you anymore. In Croatia, even if they don't feel good with you, they will give you another chance. So you meet tomorrow again. It's a small cities, stuff like that. So I learned to, I would say, again, I questioned myself, and then I was trying to learn to listen. That was one part of the stubbornness. Very general thing. I was, raised as kind of, Croatia was in the war, for example, in the 90s with Serbia. And we were raised in a way of, I would not say hating people from Serbia, but more like being careful about them, more like, okay, he's Serb now, he's starting not from zero, he's starting from -10. And then I had some of the best friends I had there were just Serbian students who they were on the same page with me, in the new world, trying to figure out the life. And it was actually the easiest to talk with them because we speak same language. So it was actually the easiest to make a friends with them. So then I completely changed that idea. I would say this nationalism, a little bit too strong nationalism, completely changed in my eyes. What else? For example, the religion, grandma always push you, have to pray, you have to this and that. I kept my beliefs, I kept the spirituality, but I recognized many things that were actually not right about that in the Croatian environment. So then I think there were a lot of things I questioned, and I changed in my beliefs, but I still remained very spiritual. So what else? I think you got an idea.
Okay. Yeah.
Major things changed. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So you were in the States, and what did you after leaving the States?
Sorry?
What did you do after leaving the States?
Okay, yeah, I moved back to Zagreb. I was volunteering there in academy or in Dinamo Zagreb. Then I worked for 2 years, and after that, I felt it was the right time. I finished bachelor in USA, so from 23 to 25, I was working, and then I felt it's the right time to make another step into the master degree because I was thinking I slowly kind of lost this academic motion. You know, you can if you're not continuing the school, then you are kind of again in the school every day 7 o'clock. You have a schedule. Then I was thinking, okay, this is still fresh. I had 2 years of working. Now I know what I want. Okay, I'm gonna work in football. It's gonna be coaching. So I know, okay, now let me see what I'm missing. I need some management skills. I want to go into Germany because this area is very, very football orientated. A lot of good football clubs. Center of the Europe. I wanted to create the network there. So then I applied for the German Sports University and I got in, and then I moved there.
Okay, so Croatia, States, Germany. How did Germany feel for you at the first glance?
Huh, at the first glance, you know, in Germany it depends a lot if it's winter or the summer. The life is much different, especially in Cologne. In the summer, everything is kind of outside. You see people in the parks. It looks like a heaven, you know. In the winter, everything is kind of dark. You don't see the sun. Sometimes snow, rain, so everything looks dark. Yeah, and but I really like the society in Cologne. In Cologne, I cannot now talk much more about whole Germany, but I really found myself because I was in US. I was like living in Croatia, right? And then I moved to USA. So then I really liked in USA this professional life, a lot of options, opportunities, stuff like that. Yeah. And then, but life was too fast. I had some, you know, you work 24 hours a day, so you get some health problems if you don't take care about yourself. You lose a job for a month, you don't know how to pay your bills. So then for me this was too much. It was this, you know, capitalism in his essence is just doesn't care about humans that much. It's just about development, development, development. And so then I was okay, let me go back. But Croatia, where I lived before, like this area south, was very unprofessional, let's say like that. A lot of enjoyment, having fun with the friends and so on. But I just got into this mood of working. I couldn't live here anymore when I was 23 because I had so much energy. I couldn't spend it on what I want. So then I said, okay, my goal is to go somewhere in the Europe. And I believe like Europe still have this social feeling about humans, but it still gives you a lot of opportunities. And it would be the mix of the both, like a perfect mix. And I found that in Cologne, like perfectly. I was there for 3 years, so many new connections. One of them was you. So many opportunities. Every day was, you were feeling that every day you're gonna meet someone new, some new project, some new idea, and this was something I was looking for. But there was still enjoyments, like, you know, that after 4 o'clock you go with the friends in the parks and you have this social life as well. And it was close to go home, yeah, to family, which is still something important. So when I compare it in the general way, USA, a lot of opportunities, but no life balance. Croatia, a lot of enjoyment, no professional life, but like Cologne gave me the best of both.
What did Cologne and Germany and maybe the people there, what did they teach you?
Uh, the the best the best lesson I got from there is that if every part of the society understand his role and how single person inside the democracy and the society that cares about each other have his own part, like it can be a beautiful life for anyone. So this, for example, integration process for me was really simple. People like they don't care if you're from Croatia here and there. They want you to be a good human, good worker, good professional. So what I learned the best there is that actually the systems can work if we are honest about the mistakes of that system. So what I recognize, for example, I think we spoke a lot about this. We'll take football, for example. We here in Croatia have a lot of problems in the football with corruption and all these South countries, right? So like there is, when you talk with the people about it, they always tell like, this is never going to change, it's impossible and so on, blah, blah, blah. But actually, because they are thinking like this, the things are not changing. While in Germany, what I felt, I think at that time, my second year or something like that, there was like or third year, there was I think the DFB president, he resigned because he got some watch from some politician in Ukraine. And I felt like I didn't feel like it's not like on the TV people talk and say like, this is not good and la la la. I felt in the just a normal student on the sports university that if I open this topic, he as a German, he's ashamed of this, and they wanted things to be solved. And you don't feel this in Croatia, because that single person has a problem with that. The politicians, the people who are on the top, they have to act. But if the people down there don't think like this is going to change or it doesn't bother them anymore, then the guys on the top, they are not scared and they won't change anything. So this is what I learned. Yeah.
So what you're saying, the thinking is, on the one hand, it's change. It's a mindset of change and saying, okay, that's right, that's wrong. And the other thing is a mindset of I can't change anything.
Yeah, I would say I realized that the change starts from the down, from the bottom, and it starts from yourself. So what I learned for myself is like my word, my beliefs, if I tell them, it's not like they don't matter. Maybe I'm going to be alone with 100 others that don't talk, but it's still someone is going to hear, and then we're going to be 2, and maybe after that is going to be 4. And this is what I realized, and that's the only way that the things are right, at the top and at the bottom. So I would say the German, the Cologne, the society there, they taught me that you first need to change yourself, your everyday routine, and then you can affect the bigger things in the world. Yeah.
So we are 2 here. If somebody's listening, we're at least 3.
Exactly.
So you worked, after your time in Germany, you went to Poland. What did you do there? What was your role?
So I finished my degree. I was just finishing my master thesis, and this option came out from Zagłębie Lubin Youth Academy. Apparently, at that time I heard that it's one of the best in Poland. Very isolated academy in one little town where they bringing the best players from Poland, and they have infrastructure. So they offered me a U17 coach. I was working with another guy who was a head coach, and after 2 months I knew he was leaving, and I was taking over it as a head coach. So it was U17 head coach, and I was like supposed to help them with organizing the scouting network for the Eastern Europe.
So how long did you stay there? How did this role feel for you?
Yeah, it was unfortunately very short. It was about 3 months, I think, or a little bit less actually. For me, it was amazing. I didn't know much about Poland. People there, it was easy to integrate. I was learning language quickly. It was a bit difficult because it was really small town comparing to Cologne. So, but I put this in my head as I'm going now to work. We're traveling around Europe, so that won't be a problem. Uh, I had a good 2-3 months over there. I recognized the Poland society thinking, some kind of social structures there, and there were some amazing things. Like people are very professional, kids are very hardworking. Like I never saw anywhere like that. They really want to work. They want to train. They want to train even more than you tell them, and it comes deep inside of them. They have this intrinsic motivation that is extraordinary, that we have problem, I think, in Croatia, where motivation is now more and more coming from outside. You have to motivate them with talks, praise, money, new cleats, shoes, and blah blah blah. While in Poland, you feel like, to me, I was trying to recognize why is this. A lot of people told me because of like a kind of background where Poland had the problems in the past with the with these autocratic systems, fascism, then communism. They were always fighting for their like a freedom and stuff, and they had to be united as an army, very strict, professional. So they say this comes from the past.
Yeah, I can emphasize this. I was working at Red Bull, we had two matches against Baník Ostrava from the Czech Republic, and they were like fighting like hell. They were like dying on the pitch just for having this friendly against Red Bull. So I completely understand where you come from with this observation. So, and then now you have you have a complete different role in football as well, as an assistant academy director.
Yeah.
What does this role? Yeah, how do you define this role for yourself? What are your things you do every day?
Yeah. So every day, basically, I'm mostly in the office. I would say 70% of the time. 30% I go to the pitch, watch the trainings, talk a little bit with the coaches, talk with the players. So I have an academy director, Mr. Boro Primorac, who sits here normally with me. He's not here at the moment. So I'm his, whatever he cannot pick it up, I'm picking it up for him. So let's say part of my role is to push for the methodology in the academy, to control the process, to update it regularly, to organize some kind of 6 months periods, 1 month, 1 week processes, meetings with the coaches, selecting the coaches. Obviously, we have a scout, so also approving the identification of the players who should enter the academy. So basically, controlling the DNA of the academy and making sure that everyone is following this. So we have about, I think, 13 categories under ourselves. In each category, there is a head coach, assistant coach, fitness coach, goalkeeper coach. We have analysts, we have scouts, so pedagogists, psychologists. So very, very big process that it's, for me, it's a big surprise as well, because when I was a coach, I had one perspective. I always think like, okay, that guy, why he didn't take care of the signing the contract, with the player. Now this player is unhappy for me in the training. But the things are, when you have a holistic picture from this point of view, then the life is much, much more complicated in the something that is, let's say, it's just a youth academy. It's not the first thing, right? The things that are in the media and everywhere. So I'm here all day, every day, almost from 8 in the morning to 8, 9 in the night. And again, I'm enjoying it. I'm not going home that much.
So you had different roles, and now you're as well in a leadership role. What are your key leadership principles?
Look, I think this is when you become a coach, you have to lose little of yourself. You need to have your way. You need to have your way, but you have to know that you have 20, 25 players, and in order for all of them to be happy, or at least more than 50%, at some point you will have to lose yourself and try to adapt. Yeah, a lot of times, especially in a country like Croatia, where the kids are so diverse. They are coming from the different backgrounds and everything else like that. So now this is the coaching, yeah. And I had this bridge, yeah, of changing myself from the football player or the regular human being to the coach. And now when you come to this position, now you have, let's say, underneath you, you have 13 coaches, 13 coaches who are different. And those coaches have 25 kids each, or some of them have less. So now you need to even more adapt if you want to get the best out of these 13 guys. I don't believe the best way is just to fire someone and bring someone new. Yeah, this is the last option. I think it's very important to raise those people up, to put their advantages, disadvantages on the paper, and then look if you can help them to change the disadvantages and use their advantages to raise up the academy as best as possible. So my idea, I'm a very democratic orientated person. So I go with the democracy as long as it it's respected and everyone can tell what they want, but they don't disrespect someone else. When it comes to the point that there is a disrespect, then I start to be autocratic, and just saying like, okay, this decision, I don't want to explain it. Let's go. So at the point when someone cannot understand why we do something, then we just do it and don't think about it anymore. It's harder way, as you know, democracy is always harder than dictatorship. But I believe on the long run, it brings the better fruit. The both trees, democracy and dictatorship, brings the apple. But how the quality of the apple, how tasty it is, I think at the end, the democracy brings the much better taste and much better product. And when I mean product, I mean coaches, kids, players, and everything else. More stable human being, yeah.
What kind of culture do you want to see?
In the academy, in the club.
Yeah.
Huh, that's a very broad question. For sure, there is the things, when I was in Poland, I first recognized what is around myself. I have to know the culture that's happening there. So, I think we were talking about this by some research. They say that we, as academy, as a coaches, we can influence the 50% of the development of that player. Yeah, while 50% is about the environment where you live. So first thing, I need to know what is the environment where I live, what is good about it and what is bad about it. So I think I have no problem with recognizing this, because I told you when I moved to USA, I was recognizing it on my own skin to try to change myself to be better. So I recognize, okay, there is a good things here. We are very proud people. We want to succeed in football because we love it. Everyone, football is sometimes more important than something that should be important, like moral standards and so on. So that's sometimes bad, but it can be good if you use it for good things. So what else? We have very big temperament here, in a way that if we win, there is a wave of a positive energy. But also if we lose, the wave of the negative energy is very hard to bring the back on the positive. So this can be good, but it can be very bad, because the um, how to say, the mood of the people goes like this. In Germany, it goes like this: you lose, okay, it's here. You win, here. Lose, here. Win, here. Here it's win, lose, win, lose. So you need to now you need, okay, that's a holistic picture. Now you need to know how to control this, yeah, and create a culture in the academy that lives in this holistic thing, because I'll never be able to do something what is in Germany here, but I can try to move it bit to be a bit better. So I would say the culture for sure of the mutual respect, of the very ambitious people. And for me, when I say, let's say, the culture of the coaches, I think that's the most important. That every coach in academy, he has to believe in the process of development, like so crazy, like this mood is crazy. I want him to believe in the process of development so crazy that when he coached the kids, that kid that is 25th on his list in his team, that he can make a player out of him. I know this is not realistic, but he needs to have this little belief in himself that he can do out of him something. And I think this is to be very general, this is the culture that I want to create. Yeah.
Okay, so when I understand that right, the coach sees something inside the player, you see something inside the coach, and this thinking of you're somebody, I trust you, is a thinking you want to implement.
Can you say that again?
Like this getting the best out of each one, like getting the best out of the coaches, getting the best out of the players. That is what you want to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What is sincere appreciation for you? How do you live that to appreciate something?
Can you
Um,
reframe the question?
for example, when there is a good job, a good match played, or like maybe the game, you lost the game 2-0, but you had a really good performance. And when you deal with people and maybe a coach has lost 3 games or whatever happens, how do you deal with them on a daily basis to show them that you're there for them?
Look, we have us here very good atmosphere of result is not that important. It's more about the development. Sometimes it's even too much that we forget that the result is a part of the development. So, but I like to discuss this more when we win rather than when we lose. I want that everyone is questioning themselves when they're winning rather than when they're losing. So when they lose, I don't do much pressure about it. I don't call a coach when he loses. I call him when he wins. And then I ask, like, things like that. So because exactly about I was telling you before, the society here is this and then this and then this. In Germany, you lose and then you can talk about losing. You win, you can talk about winning, because your coach won't go much down. Yeah, he's stable because the society he's raised in this. If my coach lose and I start talking with him about losing, he's going to go down below the ground. So I need to bring him back here so that on Monday he's ready for a new week. When he wins, if I don't speak with him, he will think like, okay, that's amazing. Or maybe I speak with him about, oh, it was amazing. So he's going to go above the sky. So then I talk with him about what is the problems. And then I'm trying to, again, bring him back here for the Monday. So this is, again, it depends on who I have around here. Yeah. I'm adapting to, I would say I lost myself. But I think when you're a manager, you have to do that.
So you lost yourself, but you're still yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's I think very important for a manager or coordinator, that he wants other people to succeed more than himself. So I think I have this feeling. Sometimes I want more better to the others, and I lose part of myself for the system to work, which is sometimes not good, because you first need to take care of yourself to make happy others. Yeah, so it's hard to balance this as well. But if you're really truly want to be good manager, coordinator, whatsoever, I think it's about raising the people around yourself to the point. Yeah, so in order to do that, you know, you cannot be pure yourself. You have to sometimes, stay quiet even if you want to say something. So that's how it is. But sometimes you need to tell it in the head if it's necessary to tell it in the head. So there is no receipt how to do this, or the program.
Okay. What do you think about the quote, "Who wants to lead needs to know how to serve"?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's part of this that we're talking, but it can also be from perspective of that in order to lead, you should go steps by steps to get to the point of leading. Because if you want to lead now coach of U8, I think you should at least know to some degree how his life is. So it can be looked from this perspective, and I completely agree. I completely agree about it. There is some people who might take a few steps over and not go through all the process, but I think those people have to have very I would not even say self-reflective, but I think this is in science, it's called social learning theory, where you don't only learn from your mistakes, but you learn from other mistakes. So when I look, maybe when I was looking you in Leipzig, so when you were telling me about some situations, I always try to think myself, okay, what should I do in this case? Would I do the same as he did, or I do other thing? And if I did that other thing, what would happen in that scenario? It's trying to I don't know the word on English, but you're trying to imagine the scenarios, and that way I think you can skip some steps because you were thinking a lot about them. Yeah, so you were kind of serving in the imaginary world.
Okay, thank you for that. You already said you're a lot of time in the office and working a lot for this job. What does the game itself, the playing itself, mean to you?
You mean like a playing football match, or?
For example, yeah, whatever, playing cards, playing football, whatever you play, what does playing mean to you?
It's playing. I think it's, of course, it's about competition. I believe all these sports throughout the history of the humankind, sport became it had some intelligent people realized, okay, humans have this competitive something in themselves. Yeah, they have to compete to please themselves or whatsoever. So throughout the history, this was the wars. Okay, let's now. First, it went from me and you fighting. Who is stronger? He's better. Yeah, and then it became like, okay, me as a general, I create my army, and then I fight against your army. Yeah, and then it was starting. Who's gonna make a better gun? And then this gun wins. Yeah, and then they realize, okay, this is making too much mess in the world, so let's find something how we're going to compete, either on the nation level, individual level, but so the people don't die, but just there is let's try to fix this thing. So when we talk about playing the match or playing sports or whatsoever, it's about competition. Like, you want to be better to satisfy yourself, and to reach some potentials, yeah, to see how your life, how far it can go in this. um, so for me, playing, it's a competition, but what's very important, I think you have two profiles of the people. You have people they want to win just to win, you know, to see other people think how they are winners. And there is other profile of the people who win to satisfy themselves. They don't need recognition from outside. So, and these people play by the rules, you know, they don't even feel good if they win, but it wasn't by the rules of the game, of the play. So I think this is the maximum of the maximums of the playing. It's like in the same rule, not even thinking about how to break the rules to win something. Because if you satisfied yourself, then this is like it's a pure sport or pure playing.
You mentioned in the beginning that Croatia has 4 million citizens, Germany has 80 million. Now in 2014, Germany won the World Cup, and then in 2018, Croatia went to the final and Germany dropped out early. So how can you explain this phenomenon and this moment, and what did makes this unique in the Croatian perspective?
This is, I think we can do only one podcast about this of 2 hours. You know, one of he's not sports director, but he's like a consultant for the sports in the club at the moment, Mario Stanic. He played in Chelsea, Parma. He was very, very good professional footballer. He told me one thing, and I think this quote came from his friend. He said, the football and the iced tea are two biggest, how to translate this, just a second. Let me Google translate this, it's important. Moment. Okay, yeah. So he said the football and the iced tea are the two biggest frauds in the life. And it's football, it's iced tea because it's a very sweet drink, but it's not because of tea, it's because of sugar. There is something that tricks you, it's a fraud. And he said football is like this, you know. He said, I was winning the titles in the teams that I cannot tell you the way we were training, it would be joke and everything else. While I was losing the titles in the team that was amazing, had amazing coach and everything else. So I think in the club level, this is happening less and less because the processes are very detailed, very many small details are taken care of, so the result comes out of this. But on the national team levels, this still is just only one competition. Like one game can change from qualifying through the group or not qualifying through the group. But okay, now I think you got a point. But I think every cyclist brings something. So the cyclists of the Germany winning the World Cup came because of the very, very good system they put like for last 10 years in the development of the players and everything else. So the system was breaking a talent, individual talent. And because individual talent wasn't very good organized, so they were so dominating. Now the individual talent in some countries where there is a lot of it started to raise the average, let's say, level of the system. So I think this win by Germany adapted Brazil way of playing football, Croatia way of playing football. Everyone raised their orientation on the scientific information and so on. But now the new cyclists brought like Croatia and I think we were good before as well. This just few lucky games and good atmosphere in the team brought us to the second place, and 3 times I think penalties or something like that. So I think why Croatia came so far, I think we were speaking about this, is because at the moment we have a great mixture of system that coming closer to the Western Europe, information, education, and so on. And this is like, let's say, unstructured talent. I think in the unstructured systems, the talent and the creativity brings a flourish, yeah, in the individual players. Now you have 11 players, and if you have guys as Ante Rebic, who is very creative, or Modric and so on, and you give them some kind of system, they are now in the middle. Now we have the best equilibrium, what is the best for the football. While I think Germany now have a problem because they were too systematic, and now they need to find a way how to get to the point of developing creative players and very good system of 11 guys on the pitch.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Andro, what do you love about life?
What?
What do you love about life?
What do I love about life?
Yeah, from your heart.
Phew. What do I love about life? Every time at 7 in the morning, the sun comes again. However bad it is day before, you have sun is gonna come up again tomorrow, and I love that. It's cool.
So this podcast is called the Eye Level Podcast. What does eye level mean to you?
Eye level,
Yeah.
like I is me, or
The eye.
I
Yeah.
eye level. Okay, eye level. What would that mean? Yeah, eye level. It's probably what you were mentioning before. It's about when you're eye to eye, you listen people. Yeah, you want to see deeper than just their eyes. Yeah, because eyes you can look and that's it, but you want to see what their eyes are connected with. Yeah, from their toes to the eyes. So for me, this would be eye level. We
Do
are
you
on the same level. Yeah,
do you think there's a connection between eye level and love?
and love.
Yeah.
Eye level and love. Huh. Now this is very philosophical. uh, well, sure. To love something deeper than just Instagram post, you need to know someone's good and bad things, and when you accept the bad things and you keep loving good things, it's a true love. So yeah.
You already mentioned Instagram posts. What is true love for you?
It's true love for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't find it.
So you're still looking for it.
Well, if you talk about football, I don't. I'm happy and I love what I work. But I figured that out even before I was working here. But if you talk about other things, other people and stuff, it's as I said, I didn't find it yet. Yeah.
You mentioned that you are a spiritual person. What does this spirituality mean to you, and what does it give to you?
No, it gives you power to wake up every day in the morning, even the day before was the worst in the past 29 years. So this is the spirituality that you believe it's going to be better. It's when I told you when I was 22, 23, I realized, okay, this is it. I'm going to work this. Doesn't matter in village in Kenya or in Croatia or in Germany. So when you know this, then you need this little bit of spirituality to, when all the how to say this? When all the odds are telling you in the contrary, that you should give up, that it won't work, you're never gonna reach what you're looking for, there is this little stubborn thing in you, this spirituality that you believe, no, like this little hope, that's things are gonna figure out somehow on the good. And if you are just realistic and you don't have this spiritual part of yourself, you're never gonna reach the higher mountains. So this spirituality is very, very important. Very important.
And what moments of your life you really feel your heart beat?
Huh. Yeah, that's true. It's the moments when you start thinking about important things, about friends, people around you. Also in the moments, when obviously you can hear your heartbeat when there are things that might affect so many lives around you and yourself as well. So this is for sure this kind of moments.
What was the most formative moment in your life? So the moment would basically change your life, or would have the power, a big moment in your life?
One of these were the thing I mentioned you before. I remembered I was 21, 22 in San Francisco, had no penny, nothing, had to pay some apartment or a car or whatsoever. And I was one click away. I already, you open the website, you find out flight for Croatia and so on. And I was one click away for like going back. If I press that click, I would not be here for sure now. That was one of the things. The second thing was I was once sitting with one guy in Croatia and I was on the brink. Should I go back to USA or should I stay in Croatia? And he was the person I think who traveled a lot around the world, working for NASA, things like that. And he recognized probably himself in me, and he wrote me like a little like a paper, and he gave me and he said like just take a look, later. And he wrote like if it is to be, it is up to me, and every word of that sentence has only two letters. And he said, look, such a small letters, not letters, such a small words, each has only two letters, but it creates such a powerful sentence. And he said, it's up to you, you are the one who decide. And this, I always comes back to this when I am in some kind of thinking, and then if it is to be, it is up to me. It's amazing.
Thank you for sharing that. What is the best book you read so far and why?
To be honest, I didn't read as much as I want to read. So I had some audiobooks like Guardiola one you told me, the Klopp one you told me, this is autobiographies. They were cool. The Art of War was really interesting one about management. But I have not much more to tell you. I didn't read so much.
Okay. What is a change you would like to see in the world?
Well, I would like to see more of this society I saw in Cologne, that people take care of things in their own hands and that they don't believe that things are going to fall from the sky. Recognizing that they might spend a life not changing the world, but maybe changing themselves, their family, their street, and they already did something good.
What are your ambitions for your life?
Play by the rules and try to reach the maximum of what this journey brings. There is no like, this must be like that.
Okay. Now I gave you a lot of questions. Do you have a question for me in the end?
Yeah, I do. Why did you do this podcast? Why did you create it?
So I created it. It was, I think for creative moments, you need some free space, and you need freedom. So what Corona gave me was freedom and some space to think in different ways. And what I then, understood through Zoom calls is that you can establish a lot of relationship, even though it's only virtual. You establish really deep conversations on Zoom with people all around the world and also in the States, also whatever. And it gave me a lot, like, insights, and this whole phase gave me a lot of learnings in this way. And then I started to think, okay, what is the deepest connection you can have with a person? And that's a one-to-one conversation. And then I thought, okay, and do you want to do a podcast? Why do you want to do a podcast? Because you feel that there's something you have to say, what is you can get out to the people, and also other people have so much good things to say, what I think it's important to get out to the people. And then the end, I think what people understand is that it's all about relationships, not in a way of corruption, in a way of surrounding yourself by good people who give you power to succeed instead of drowning your energy. And I think what I learned from this podcast is a lot of listening, a lot of listening, a lot of listening to the words, thinking, okay, what could be a good question for this person? So it gives me a lot of learning, and each podcast gives me a deeper relationship to the person. So also to you, I'm honest with you. You told me things today you didn't tell me before. So it was just like, because you would never ask so many questions maybe in a normal context. So the format itself gives you an idea of another person in a very deep way. And I think that's a message what we both sent today, and I think that's a worth message sending. And I'm also like you, I'm very curious. So I just try myself out, it's like I'm coaching, I'm doing my stuff, but I wanted to try out a podcast. Like I listen to podcasts, and one day maybe I want to write a book, whatever. Like it's just like do what you want to try out, and not like think about, oh yeah, I could do that, and what might others think about when you do a podcast. I just thought like, okay, I listen to that stuff, so I want to try it out. It's like that's I'm curious about that stuff. Let's see what people say.
Sure.
So yeah, Andro, what I always do in the end, hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what I always do in the end is, because you're right, the world grows faster and faster. And also here in America, it's like you're in a podcast and still checking your WhatsApp. And it's like also for the listeners, they are maybe in a car listening and then checking the next WhatsApp message and checking that. So we're getting back to 1 minute of silence. I think you know that from your spirituality, but also from maybe from your how you were grown up. So 1 moment of silence, and then 1 minute of silence, and then I give over to you for the last words. So thank you, Andro, for taking this time and for this very curious podcast and for all your insights. And I think you have this young age in calendar, but an old age in your experiences. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I will give over to you for the last words.
True. That's the thing I always say on the first date. Uh, yeah, what to tell? First of all, I'm really glad you did something like this because I know you first time we met, and now 4 or 5 years later, I like you are changing as well, and probably USA is as well part of this change that I went a little bit earlier through it. You're going through it now, and I would recommend everyone to travel, to not to travel just for a week and go on the good beach resort, but to just go and live somewhere else for 6 months, 1 year, to experience completely different culture and to understand why this culture is like this. Because if you know that, then you can be a better worker, better coach, better soccer player or whatsoever. So yeah, thank you, Toby, and I'm looking forward to look for the next your attendees at the podcast.